All right, well, here we are, June 2nd, 2022. I am preparing here to do a card read. I haven't done one in a while. It's I don't know, about a week and a half, right? And the last one I did, I don't think I published it. But I've decided that I'm going to start publishing card readings on a more regular basis. And um, it's something that I thought about for a long time. Um, and it's something that's quite taboo. But there have been things that have happened in my life recently that have just told me that yeah, it's definitely time to do this. And um, I personally find it an empowering practice. So I've spoken about my card readings before when I do my New Year's Eve, the big one, the big New Year's Eve reading that I do, and the way I read is a little bit different than the way a lot of people read, and I don't look at the future. I look at the present moment, and I find that is much more valuable than looking at the future because looking at the future is like saying you don't have free will, right? And if you're looking at what is in the present moment, right, you have the opportunity to make a choice for yourself about how to proceed with the new insight that you may gain from the card read. So my card read isn't for anybody in particular. It is for everybody in particular. I'm reading the global energy. I'm reading the energy of our world, our entire world, right? Through the lens of the medium of the cards that I read. Um, I'm outside, and people's dogs are barking all over the place. You probably hear it. I don't know. Birds are singing, dogs are barking. Before I do my card reading, though, I want to talk about something else. So, I'm a bit of an amateur herbalist, right? Um, I guess you would probably consider me as something a little bit more than amateur. I've been studying herbalism and practicing herbalism for myself. I'm not a licensed herbalist. I'm not a licensed medical practitioner of any kind. My research has all been done on my own, and for my own personal purposes. So anything that I share is from that perspective. You should always consult a licensed medical practitioner before you do anything for your health. That being said, I recently purchased some seeds. These are it's a twin pack of seeds of pennyroyal. Pennyroyal is in the mint family. It looks very, very similar to catnip. Catnip is also in the mint family. The leaves of the mint, of peppermint, spearmint, chocolate mint, all of these things that you think about in tea or salad or candies or whatever. They have a leaf that is shaped the same as other mints, and so like lemon balm is in the mint family. Catnip is in the mint family. Pennyroyal is in the mint family. Pennyroyal is a very special mint, and it is very important for women these days. So this plant is traditionally used, or has been historically traditionally used, for causing the expulsion of the uterine lining. It is an herbal D&C, right? So that can be very, very helpful. But there are things to take into consideration with pennyroyal. It is in large quantities toxic, and it is filtered through your liver. And so, if you particularly if you have issues with your liver's compromised for any reason, pennyroyal might not be a great choice for you. However, between a rock and a hard place, right? You might want to make that choice. And so, how do I prepare pennyroyal for use when for expressing my uterine lining when I feel it is necessary or feel it may be necessary, right? What do? Well, you don't just I don't recommend just eating the leaves, right? Pennyroyal has a musky kind of aroma and flavor. Um, it doesn't taste minty the way you think peppermint or way you think of peppermint or spearmint. It has a muskier, more mm, floral kind of heady kind of aroma and flavor. And the way that I prepare it is I dry it the way you would dry mint for tea, and then crush it, and then I prepare it as tincture. So, you know, I don't know, you have like 5 pounds of mint. That's a lot of mint. About 5 pounds of mint or 5 pounds of pennyroyal can be used to make, like if you have two big bottles of vodka, 5 pounds, that's a lot. Maybe less than that, maybe a pound. Let's talk about a pound. A pound of pennyroyal, a pound of pennyroyal, a pound of pennyroyal, fresh pennyroyal, a pound of fresh pennyroyal, dried and then crushed, and then steeped in a big bottle of vodka for I don't know, 2 weeks, at least 2 weeks, and then you can soak it longer, but really, I mean, 2 weeks is all it really takes to for the grain alcohol, and it has to be a clear grain alcohol, high quality clear grain alcohol, to dissolve any and all of the phytonutrients and the essential oils that are or terpenes or anything that are on the flower and the leaf, right? Strain it out, and then, like, I don't know, half a shot glass, half a standard shot glass of that tincture, and within a couple days, my uterine lining expresses. I don't know. What do you think that might be useful for? Pennyroyal grows naturally in most climates in the United States. So, that being said, all of this being said, let's have a card reading. Yeah, seriously. So, if your uterine lining does not express within a couple of days, you might want to try another shot. However, from all of my reading and all of the reading that I've done and in my personal experience, I have never used pennyroyal more than 3 days in a row, right? Like if you really want to be sure, right? I think the indications that I've read in most herbalist books have said to not to use it for more than a week, right? And then to only use it very low micro doses. So you have to figure out what's right for your body. But like I said, for me, half a shot glass of tincture, and yeah, I think it's about a pound of fresh pennyroyal that has been dried and crushed, and then steeped in high quality, clear grain alcohol for a minimum of 2 weeks. And then it keeps like almost indefinitely, right? If you're worried about it, like if you're really worried about it, you can put it in the refrigerator and it'll keep a little bit longer, but it doesn't need to be, right? Alcohol preservation is one of the longest lasting preservations there is. And if you don't like the way it tastes, because it is kind of a funky taste, you can add a little honey to it, right? A spoonful of sugar. Spoonful of sugar. All right. So I read the diamond, and I read 3 decks here. I'm still reading Doreen Virtue's Angel deck. I'm still reading it. I still find value in it, and I know that she no longer. I know that she no longer believes in. She has become born again Christian, and does not believe in card reading anymore, and has denounced her former life, which bums me out because she was always a very very positive and encouraging and grounding voice in the community, and I always very much enjoyed and found value in counsel of her readings. Um, but you know, I respect her for her personal convictions. I love Jesus too. I just don't buy into. I don't buy into the control tactics of religious denominations anymore. She and I have kind of have a flippity flop, right? All right, so in the center here, which is the energy of the day, I have a reverse number 1, Akashic Record, Divine Temple. This is an interesting crystal, the way that this quartz is wrapped and bound at the bottom. So this is not, this is talking about the Divine Temple, or the Akashic Record number. The number on this is 1. It's a reversed 1. The Akashic Record is the record of all knowledge of all time, in all dimensions, in all places. So seeing it reversed doesn't mean that that you're receiving knowledge that is not from the Akashic, not from all. It's just it's from this dimension. It's not from the outer realms, right? And that's okay. Energy exists on all dimensions and all planes at all times, right? Can't always be listening way out yonder. Sometimes you got to listen to what's right next to you. Forces at play that you may not be aware of. I have a number 23 reversed, Family Karma Guardian. So here's some ancient family kind of energy that is taking departure, has been standing guard. Guardian does not always necessarily mean a positive thing. Sometimes family can be overprotective, right? Overbearing. But maybe it isn't. Maybe it isn't a good thing. Maybe it's an abandonment, right? This is the energy. This is a departure of a familial guardian. Forces at play that you're probably aware of. We have an upright number 3, truth, higher truth. So, I see this next to this family karma guardian, this familial guardianship kind of thing that's passing on, right? That's moving out of the way. To me, this feels like a positive thing. It's like, oh, okay, this truth exists here. I don't need to be holding you down like this anymore. Course of action. We have an upright number 5, awakening, emotional intelligence. It's like, oh my gosh, light bulb going off. It's been right here in front of my face. I don't need to do this. I don't need to be so controlling, right? That's helpful, right? And then the outcome is a reverse 32 clearing karma nirvana quartz. So this isn't a canceling out of karma. This is an incurrence of karma. So, incurrence of karma is not necessarily a bad thing either, right? It's a continuum. Karma is a continuum. Maybe somebody's paying into your karmic account, right? The wind is blowing. Maybe maybe somebody is incurring karma to somebody else, right? Somebody's incurring a debt. Ooh, got one flipped over. There we go. Well, now, so on the reverse number 1, Divine Temple, Akashic Records, we have an upright 9 of Earth, enjoying life's little luxuries, spending quiet time alone, successful self-employment. Forces at play that you may not be aware of. On the reverse 23, we have a reverse 10, the Wheel, Archangel Michael. A time of positive change. A situation suddenly moves forward. Fortune is on your side. Well, perhaps that familial guardianship, you know, feels like they have incurred some bad luck. I don't know. I don't know. But that familial thing, it's not positive change. And on forces at play that you're probably aware of, on the upright 3, we have a reverse 5, Unity, Archangel Sandalphon. I don't know where she came up with these names. Like, I've never heard of that angel before this doc. I don't know. But like I said, I find value in the comments and things that are on these cards, and seeing how these numbers show up in patterns in everyday life. It's not about this card being determinative of what, or any of these cards being determinative of what the future is. It's where things stand in the moment. So this right now, the unity is reversed. There's been a schism, and that's on top of this higher truth, right? Traditional viewpoints or methods, spiritual organizations seek mentors and like-minded friends. So I think this is talking for me this is talking about um, fundamentalist Christian belief is that reading these cards is so evil. What is so evil about this? What is so evil about finding counsel, a perspective on life from something other than a licensed family therapist or a priest, right? What's so wrong about that? You can read a work of fiction. You can read a work of fiction and find some sort of higher truth, which is this is on top of the number 3, higher truth. You can find that higher truth anywhere, right? This is, think about it as like freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of religion, freedom of spiritual journey. Maybe maybe you find your spiritual truth among nature. I'm very, very leery of anyone who claims to hold the complete and only truth, right? The only one who can claim that is Jesus. Forces or course of action. On top of the upright 5 awakening, I have a reversed 5 of air. An unwise choice. Learn what you can from this situation, review everyone's motives. So, it was not such an unwise choice, right? Not such an unwise choice. It's okay to seek counsel in other forms, in other ways. And on top of the reversed 32 for the outcome, the Nirvana quartz, the clearing karma, we have an upright Queen of Fire, confident, warm, intelligent, graceful. Stretch your wings and fly. Don't underestimate yourself. Assert your independence and creativity. Well, that's certainly something I'm interested in doing, right? It's a positive kind of thing. See, I speak in I statements when I'm reading because I can only read through my personal lens of experience. But that doesn't mean that somebody else might not find wisdom in what I have to say. Or, you don't even have to listen to what I say. You can just listen to what the card is and find your own wisdom and truth there. I'm no one's guru. As a matter of fact, I have always been very skeptical of guru worship. It is what has kept me from ever formally joining any ashram. Because yes, I have found counsel and truth and spiritual value in Vedic tradition, most certainly, and in ashrams where there is a guru. Like, I've been to see Amma, and definitely there was value in that. But I was not a devotee. I could never become a devotee. Not because I feel like there's anything wrong with Amma. Not at all. Amma's teachings are always healthy, right? But I could never buy into the um, blind fervor of the guru worship, and um, that's okay. One time we were at the ashram for one of the retreats, and you never stayed. Well, we never stayed at the ashram. You could do that, but then you had to stay longer, and it cost more, and there was more responsibility, and there was more of a hounding to become a devotee kind of thing. So we never stayed at the ashram. We always stayed off site and came to the ashram for the events of the day, right? For during the retreat. Um, now, so when you go to the ashram, one of the things that's part of the retreat is you perform seva, your service, right? It's the same when you do a retreat for any other organization as well. You know, you help out in the kitchen or whatever. And so we were assigned to help out for the kitchen. It was early in the morning, and I hadn't had anything to eat, and my hands were a little bit shaky. I was on medication at the time, and I had to eat. And they gave us. I had this dull knife, and we were cutting onions. Now there were thousands of people there, literally thousands of people, and so the food preparation, was something that happened all day. And so it was early in the morning. We were there. It was like 6:30 in the morning for our seva, and preparing for lunch and dinner already, right? As breakfast was prepared even earlier than that, right, for everyone. And so I was cutting these onions, and this weird little old man who was living at the ashram and was an Amma groupie following her all over wherever the hell she went. He starts like berating me because I was cutting too much off of the end of the onion. Well, the knife was dull, and my hand was a little bit shaky. And I told him, and I wasn't being wasteful. Like, this guy was just looking for something to say to me, and this is what he chose. And he's like, oh, Amma hates the waste of food, and you're wasting all of this food. Look at all that good onion on there that you're wasting. And I'm serious. It was like, it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. And I said to him, I said, look, I cook every day of the week at home. I know how to cook. I said, this knife is dull, and I haven't eaten yet this morning. I said, are you asking me to stick this knife in my hand? And he was like, oh. Oh. That was the last time we went to the ashram. Okay. All right, so in the center, on the reverse number 1 and the upright 9, I have an upright Roman numeral 3, creativity. There she is. There she is. It's a creative day. It's a creative day. And forces at play that you may not be aware of. On the reverse 23 and the reverse 10, I have a reverse 9, exhaustion. Well, thank goodness for getting some rest already, right? And on forces at play that you're probably aware of, on the upright 3 and the reverse 5, I have an upright 2, moment to moment. It's kind of how I'm approaching my day today, right? I have things that I want to do, but I'm just, taking my time, being nice to me, being kind to myself, because Lord knows it's hard to find anybody else who is. And on course of action, I have on the upright 5 and the reverse 5, I have an upright 7, projections. This is seeing the self in the other, or seeing the other on the self, right? Which is kind of a double-edged sword. Projecting onto somebody else that which is yours, right? You can project both positive or negative onto another, and I find this a lot in relationship with people. People have an expectation of what I'm going to do or what I'm going to be or whatever, and then based on um, their experience, and I find this in myself, having an expectation of what somebody is going to, what a situation is going to be because of what my experience has been. And sometimes that turns out to be a wisdom because you turn out to be correct. Other times it turns out to be a self-fulfilling prophecy, and other times it just turns out to be wrong, right? Or incorrect. I shouldn't say wrong because that's a judgment. Incorrect, right? A misperception. um, Wrong or right, I think it's human. I think it's human, and it's something to be aware of, and it's something that I try to be aware of. I'm not always successful, right? Because we're human. And the outcome then on the reverse 32 and the upright Queen of Fire, I have an upright Major Arcana understanding. Oh, finally, there's the wings of the dove there, the wings of the snow white dove, of peace, of the Holy Spirit, of understanding. Oh, that's what's been going on. That's what's been going on. It's like a revelation, right? Oh, the light's gone off. Oh my goodness gracious, right? Hmm. I always find comfort. I always find comfort after doing a card read, and it helps me to just look at things from another perspective. Maybe from a perspective that I hadn't thought of before, or that I had been unconsciously or subconsciously denying, right? But it's always helpful. It's like I'm gonna think today, like where have projections gotten me in trouble? Like, um, oh, ridiculousness yesterday. So when I discovered, or when Omar discovered yesterday that his mother's documentation, all of her immigration documentation has been stolen from our house. Our house has been broken into um, a number of times, and I don't think it's random. I think it's targeted at us, right? I don't think it's necessarily the area. I don't think that this area is any worse or better than other places. I think this is actually a pretty nice area, but I think that this has been personal against us, right? Um, I called the police and to report this because her documentation is that has street value, right? For somebody who is unscrupulous and looking to steal somebody's ID, right? For benefit. And oh, it's a two-way street. The, the person who answered the phone told me that their name was Dalissa. Never heard this name Dalissa before, and I've had the experience of people mocking me in this community, particularly people who work for the county and or the police, right? Mocking me. And they have caller ID, so they know who's calling, and I've had many interactions with them. And I thought she was making fun of me. I thought she was making fun of my name. And I told her, I said, I don't believe that's your name. Well, then she got like all up in arms and she talked like this. And so when she started insulting me and talking like this, telling me she didn't like the way I talked to her, I'm like, okay, then I'll talk to you the way you're talking to me. And so I started talking to her like this. Oh my God. And then she got all upset and told me to call back when I could be a nice human being. I was just like, are you kidding? Are you kidding? But seriously, still, it was. Could I have handled that differently? Sure, you can always handle something differently, right? You can always make a different choice than what you have made, right? There's always a different choice. There's always more than one choice. Always. There's always more than one choice. Do I think my choice was the wrong choice? No, I don't. I don't think it was the wrong choice. But I do think I was projecting onto her experience that I had had, right? So I assumed that she was mocking me right off the bat. I do think she was very unprofessional, and that persons who behave like that have no business working in law enforcement. So, I don't know. Whatever. Whatever. Anyway, Pennyroyal. You can order them online from seed banks. And they grow fairly easily because, mint grows fairly easily. It has a pretty little purple flower on it. It looks nice in a field. Look at this spider. There's a little spider right here. Hi. Spider friends. Spider friends. There's a squirrel screaming up there behind me. The squirrels are still mad at me from last year when we harvested all the bay nuts. We harvested bay nuts off of the bay trees, and the squirrels were pissed. They were real mad. They tore up the trash for a couple days after that. They did. They're mad at me for taking all their nuts. There's plenty of nuts around here, squirrels. There's plenty of nuts.